Hello, everyone. Hello. We are live from Kubecon. Hopefully, this is coming through clearly. We didn't have too much time to test it out. My name is Sohan, and I have Thorsten here.
Yeah, hi, everybody on stream. Live from Kubecon talking here.
Yeah, so we thought we'd actually walk around Kubecon first, and then we'll get to our regular programming. For those of you all just joining in, we stream live every Tuesday. We call this Live Code Tuesdays, where we talk about Spin, WebAssembly, and the ecosystem around. We're at KubeCon today, so we're going to be talking a little bit about SpinKube, but we thought we'll show you around the Expo floor. Keep those comments coming in, and yeah, let us know what you think if you aren't at KubeCon. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of things that are being set up. Lots of work happening on the Tuesday before KubeCon. KubeCon, of course, is one of the biggest events in tech, so we're super excited to be here. Thorsten, first time at KubeCon?
In person, yes. So I joined KubeCon a couple of times while staying at home, like many others of us. But this is my first time in person, so I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, honestly, we don't know if the audio and video is coming through clearly because, well, it is conference Wi-Fi and you know how it is. But hey, we thought we'll still give you a sneak peek into KubeCon. As you can see, all of the booths are almost set up. Maybe I can switch this around. There we go. Yeah. So you can see there. This is Commodore. We have Harness here. We have Viz. We have Intel with their booth as well. We can walk around a little bit more, perhaps. Yeah, things are almost ready for the big day tomorrow. We can see a company called Aqua Trivi. There's vCluster here. There's another big Intel booth in the distance as well. There's a company called Upwind, which has a very nice surfing/beach theme, looks like. It's always interesting to sort of see the styles that people adopt for their booth and their swag at an event like this. So, you know, I think that's one of the reasons we're doing this stream.
Yeah, and as you can see on the Portworx booth, we are in Paris, right? So there's the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, that's the Eiffel Tower.
Lego.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is an Eiffel Tower Lego, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Maybe we can circle around there because there's some famous or well-known brands over there that we want to show on stream as live as well, right?
Yeah, sounds good. Oh, there's Datadog here. Very on brand, I think, with Datadog, as they typically have nice big presence at these big events. Docker has a very, very interesting booth right here. First time I'm seeing Docker with this sort of design and their booth, Thorsten.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But they have a really nice booth. Maybe we can give people a sneak peek of what they can see starting tomorrow here at KubeCon.
Yeah, sounds good. Ooh, look nice. I really like the ship it and looks good to me sticker at the Docker booth. At Fermion, those are two emojis that we use quite a bit at thing. There's Sneak as well. Right here, that's Sneak. Yeah, let's walk this way. Oh, Oracle has a nice booth here, and they're setting up their demos. I think a bunch of folk here, including us, are setting up like their booth and demo right now.
Yeah, so a lot of well-known brands from the cloud native ecosystem, obviously. So we have JFrog on the right over here with their green CI, well known for all the products in the DevOps space, right? And maybe we can do a left.
Yeah.
So there is Google Cloud, like one of the I think let's do a ride with the GitHub booth, and then head back to the Fermion booth.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm looking at the comments now. Marcus, Bunny, thanks again for joining in. Yeah, wish y'all could be here, but next event that Fermion's at, make sure y'all are there so that we could meet in person. Yep, that's the GitHub booth right there. I can see a comment from Mriyank as well. Hey, Mriyank. If you're at KubeCon, give us a shout. We can even get you on the stream, perhaps. There's OVH Cloud right here. For folks just joining in, we stream every Tuesday, but we are going to do our regular programming in about 5 minutes, where we'll show a quick demo of SpinKube, something that we've been working on for the last few months. It is pretty exciting, so yeah. Marcus says, I remember swag hunting at the VMworld back in those days. I needed a second suitcase. Yeah, I've packed super light, Thorsten, so that I can take some swag back. What about you?
Oh, that I was not that smart. So I brought a couple of clothes because I'm staying here up until Friday. So if you are at KubeCon and want to have a talk about Spin and all the things WebAssembly, just find me and we can have a chat on that. However, I somehow have to figure out how I will go with my swag game, right?
Yeah, so here's the VM booth as well. I think VM are one of the sponsors. I saw their name on the lanyards. Yeah. We see Teleport here. We see Nirmata. Mriyank says, I'm watching from YouTube. Well, thanks for joining, Mriyank. Yeah, next event you can join us in person, perhaps. Yeah, maybe we can do one last round and then set up. Sure. Yeah, okay. So doing a last bit of, I know what's this called, pre-conference, pre-expo. Looking, oh, here's Elastic. Oh, Splunk has some very cool looking things, including like a arcade car, which as part of their booth engagement, which looks very cool. And here we come to some companies such as Octopus. I see Dagger, Sonar, and a few others as well. Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge KubeCon. I'm so looking forward to it. It's my first, actually, Thorsten. I haven't been to a KubeCon before. I was supposed to be at Amsterdam last year, but I got COVID the week of KubeCon, so I couldn't go. And yeah, and that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah, we saw ngrok, Diagrid, HA Proxy, and a few more. Shall we head back to our booths, Thorsten?
Yeah, let's head back to the booth and get our setup aligned so that we can have a look at SpinKube, right?
Yeah. All right, that's us.
Yeah, heading back to the booth right now. It's, I think, one area, the next area. Yeah, and right before KubeCon, a couple of members from Fermion have been in Barcelona for WASMI. So, interesting conference where the entire, WASM community met, and we were talking about all the things WebAssembly component model. And we had a couple of presentations there as well. I was giving a presentation on the WebAssembly component model, illustrating or demonstrating what one could build with the component model as of today. Ryan, also from our team, he was really deep and explaining how one could deconstruct WebAssembly components, on a very, very deep level. So in order to poke different components or to debug things if things turn up, right? And with that, Sohan gave me a sign that he's ready. So Sohan, can we simply swap? Great, awesome. Let's hand over this one.
Check, okay. I'm going to check if my audio is coming through right now, Thorsten. And folks, if my audio is coming through, please let me know. We had to do a quick swap here, and we are not audio video professionals, but we try. So yeah, let us know if the audio is coming through clearly right now. Oh, Rajat's here. So Rajat says, suddenly I feel like I'm there. Rajat, you also have to join us for the next one. I'll make sure I'll bring back some swag for you next time we meet at least. Yeah, hopefully my audio video is coming through clearly. Check, yeah, should be. Oh, excellent. That was actually a pretty impressive swap, Marcus. If this whole IT thing doesn't work out, maybe we can get into like audio video production.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So we thought since we're at KubeCon, we'll give you a view of the show floor, right? And I hope you enjoyed it. It's slightly different from what we typically do, but this is called Live Code Tuesday. So we are going to do some live coding today. And last week, or maybe, yeah, it was last week, we announced the launch of SpinKube, right, which is hyper-efficient serverless on Kubernetes, powered completely by WebAssembly. Now, this is completely open source. The project has contributions from companies such as SUSE, Microsoft, Liquid Reply, and so on, and it's open source, so you can as well contribute to it. But we thought we'll get Thorsten, our SpinKube expert here, to take us through what SpinKube is, how it looks, and show some live code as well. Right, Thorsten, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So maybe a quick introduction on SpinKube from my side. So the idea is that we take WebAssembly and meet, or have it or host it on a platform that is all over the place. And, if we're talking about platforms and things like that, we all end up with Kubernetes these days. And so we thought, hey, it would be super great if we can take WebAssembly workloads and just run them side by side containers to build like distributed applications where, both distribution vehicles will shine or can shine. So with SpinKube, we have like the open source variant of that one. And we also have some great documentation already in place that explains different components that form together SpinKube. So I think the most prominent one is the spin operator, right? So that part of SpinKube that listens to certain CRDs, so customer source definitions, those tiny little things that one could extend Kubernetes by using them. And we are listening to them. And as soon as we see a spin app, being created in Kubernetes, then the spin operator takes over the work and brings the spin app and all the required Kubernetes primitives alive. So the overall idea is to streamline and simplify how one could bring an application built with Spin and WebAssembly into Kubernetes. Again, we're really focusing on providing top-notch developer experience. And we thought it would be worth actually giving it a try.
Yeah, and we're going to do it live from KubeCon. I see a comment from Devarshi who says, great to see the stream from KubeCon. Yes, Devarshi, this is live. You can see we have SpinKube stickers as well. So if you're at KubeCon, come across. We have SpinKube stickers and a whole bunch of other swag, including Fippy and Friends. If you're familiar with the CNCF ecosystem, you'll know about Fippy and Friends and using children's animated characters to explain cloud-native products. So let's go back to SpinKube. Thorsten, so you spoke about the spin operator. What's a good place to get started in SpinKube?
So first of all, you can just go to spinkube.dev, where all our documentation resides. But obviously, we have a GitHub organization, or there is a GitHub organization, which is github.com/spinkube. There you can find all the different components that form together SpinKube. And what I want to do right now is walk you through the getting started guide. So although we have Wi-Fi, we're not pretty sure how long we are able to use it and how good the connectivity is. So what I'm going to do right now is all local, right? You can follow along, or you can just run through, get the quick start on your own right after the stream.
Hey, and hey, the point of containers is it works on my local computer. It should work in the cloud, right? So this demo should, work in the cloud. But yeah, as Thorsten was saying, we are live at KubeCon. Today is the setup day. They had some what they call co-located events, but KubeCon itself begins tomorrow. So they will kick us out at the end of this hour because, the Expo floor closes. Yeah, so let's get to the demo itself. Thorsten, over to you.
All right. So as I said, the quick start guide is aiming to get you going as fast as possible, right? So there are several prerequisites that you have to have on your machine. So we're using K3D, a super small Kubernetes distribution that you can run on your machine in order to, get a feeling of how things with Kubernetes could feel like. And so I've installed all those prerequisites already on my machine, right? So I have kubectl in place, I have Docker installed, K3D installed, and also Helm installed. And the first thing what we want to do is we want to create a new Kubernetes cluster. And in order to run WebAssembly workloads inside of Kubernetes, we are leveraging something that's called containerd shim for spin in our case, right?
Yeah. Can you tell us a bit about what this containerd shim spin is, Thorsten?
Yes. So basically, it's a plug-in replacement that you can deploy to a Kubernetes cluster to make it run other things than just containers, right? And I think the original containerd shim project has been started by Microsoft, if I remember correctly. And there are different variations. And Spin is just one variation that you could bring or deploy to any Kubernetes cluster. And that's what we basically prepared already in the case of K3D. So we have fully equipped K3D images with the containerd shim for spin, along with regular containerd, which still, you are still able to run containers on that Kubernetes cluster. So we can take best from both worlds. And that's what we're going to start with. So just simply copy this command, head over to the terminal, paste it in, and then I will walk you through. So we are just creating a Kubernetes cluster. Let me hit. Sorry?
Screen magnified.
Should I?
Yeah, that's good.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we are using K3D CLI to create a new cluster that consists of two worker nodes. And as you can see, we have our own image that comes pre-baked with the containerd shim for spin already in place. So let's fire this thing up. And as you can see, in a matter of seconds, because I did that once, and so I've already pulled those images, we will end up with a developer-friendly, so to say, Kubernetes cluster. Okay, come on. See, it still takes some time to configure everything. There we go. So now we can just have a look at kubectl get namespace, for example, right? And we see my cluster is like 29 seconds on, and all the namespaces that are pre-populated by the image are on my are on the terminal right now. Okay. With that said, so we have a Kubernetes cluster, we have containerd shim for spin deployed there, we can move on, and we didn't want to reinvent the wheel with SpinKube, so we thought, hey, it makes sense to rely on things that are battle tested, right? Mm-hmm. And when it comes to managing all the things SSL, in the area of Kubernetes, there's Cert Manager like the de facto standard, right? That everybody is using to poke around with SSL certificates or, interact with Acme to get proper certificate renewed every now and then. So that's the dependency we will install next. So let's go back to the quick start guide over here. So there are different ways how one could deploy Cert Manager, right? We will take the simple approach right here, although we have other tutorials as part of our documentation where we, teach it in a little bit more production grade way. So for now, we will just simply install Cert Manager with all its components and counterparts using a single kubectl apply command. So let's take this one, head over there, paste it in, and deploy Cert Manager. Again, it takes some time because Cert Manager requires some CRDs being deployed to the Kubernetes cluster, and then some namespace resources like daemon sets, pods, services, and webhooks and different things, right? So hopefully we should see a confirmation that things were deployed soon, yeah?
Yeah.
Ah, there we go.
There we go. On that note, since we got some comments about conference and conference swag, and we showed you some different company booth expo from the expo hall, let us know in the comments what are some of your favorite swag that you've received in past conferences. We have some Fermion swag here, which I will show you in a bit as the demo goes on. But I'm super curious, what are some of the better swag that you've received or seen at previous conferences? Anyway, Thorsten, so you just installed the Cert Manager, correct?
Yes, that's correct. So let's clean the surface once, and let's go back to the quick start guide. So having the Cert Manager installed and having the containerd shim for Spin already on that Kubernetes cluster, we somehow have to connect the dots, right? You may have heard already runtime class being a thing. For example, if you ever tried to run a Spin app in Docker Desktop or whatnot, so all those runtimes or platforms, they support different runtimes or runtime classes. And when we deploy something into that platform, we have to specify, hey, in this case, it is a Spin application that I want to run. In that case, it's the default runtime class, or maybe it's a container, right? So we created some, YAML manifests that make you get going fast, so that you don't have to write all the tedious YAML by hand.
No one wants to write YAML by hand.
Well,
no.
we all did that. We all have been down that rabbit hole, but we thought it would be worth, having some samples to get going. All right, so the Cert Manager is installed. Let's create the runtime class. As you see, this one, we'll pull this one from the SpinKube organization over on GitHub. Let's bring that in, fire this up, and there we go. So the runtime class has been created. Next is we have also created a couple of customer source definitions. So not a couple of, basically two. Once we're done with the setup, we can bring Spin apps to Kubernetes, right? That's the ultimate goal. And we have the concept of a Spin app executor. So that component that's responsible for taking over ownership and running our Spin application. And those CRDs will be deployed next to our cluster. So let's bring this one in. Also, this one comes from our trusted GitHub organization. And there we go. We see two CRDs being added to the Kubernetes cluster. One is the Spin app executor, and another one is the Spin app. All right. Going back to the quick start guide, now it's time to actually deploy the Spin operator. We decided that Helm is like the standard how things find their way into a Kubernetes cluster, and that, Spin operator should be no different, right? Again, we provide a Helm chart that you can use, that you can deploy into your Kubernetes cluster. Or we have also documentation in place if you want to alter things, right? Maybe you're contributing or you want to contribute to Spin Operator. We have guidance in place that tells you how you could roll your own image of Spin Operator and use that. So, yeah.
So before we do the Helm bit, folks, we have a Helm sticker. I can't not show a sticker on screen. That's the part of conferences. There we go. That's a Helm sticker. So again, if you're at Kubecon, drop by and you can have one of those. We also have some amazing swag. I must show swag on screen. So this is a very, very cool mug, like a camping mug. So it says Snore, Explore, and S'more on it. And it comes with a nice little camping book and some stickers inside. And there are also like Fermion t-shirts in a color that a lot of people really loved. So we bought them back. Again, just trying to give you a vibe of Kubecon and the Fermion booth. If you're around, do swing by. Yeah, we have a question actually from Marcus, which is, can we use Crossplane to deploy SpinKube? It should be no problem, but I did not test it. Actually, it's a good question. Maybe that's something we should try in the next couple of days. Have you tried it, Thorsten?
I haven't tried it with Crossplane particularly, but I looked into different other ways how to bring certain components to Kubernetes environments, so GitOps. Let's say that. Let's phrase it that way. So that's definitely possible. We released like last week, right? Last week, when was it? Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday, right? And we are still working on all the documentations, guides, and if you want to contribute, right, feel free, just head over to the GitHub organization, and there's a contributors guide that walks you through that process of how to step up and maybe contribute, like how one could deploy SpinKube using Crossplane.
Yeah, Marcus, I mean, first, I think great suggestion, something we're definitely going to try. But if indeed you are trying it out, yeah, feel free to also contribute. It would be great for the community. Or share your thoughts, or maybe even jump in on this stream one of these in the future weeks to talk to everyone about how you deployed it using Crossplane. Rajat, I'm going to save you one of those. So yeah, don't worry about it. I've got your back. Yeah, and yeah, thanks, Marcus. Yeah, but good question again, and keep those questions coming in, folks. For those of you all joining in on Twitter, we stream every Tuesday for an hour at this very time. We call it Live Code Tuesdays, and we talk about Spin, WebAssembly. Today is a special stream because we're streaming live from Kubecon. But next week, we'll be streaming with folks from Zeiss, and they'll be speaking about how they use WebAssembly in enterprise, right? So WebAssembly is hitting the main stage with folks in enterprise also using it, so you don't want to miss that one. Back to our scheduled programming, which is deploying the spin operator using Helm. Thorsten?
All right, so yeah, we stopped at this place. So basically what we will do next is take the Helm chart, install it on our K3D cluster. So we install all the, let's say, dependencies that we rely on. So let's copy this command. You don't want to see me typing right now. So let's clean this thing up. Let's bring it in, and let's quickly walk through that command, right? So we invoke a Helm install. Obviously, if you have installed an earlier version, you can do a Helm upgrade as well, and provide some flags like, okay, we want to have our spin operator in a certain namespace. If that namespace does not exist, we ask Helm to create it in advance, and we pin the version of that chart we want to install. Right now we are at version 0.1.0, and we point Helm to grab the chart from GitHub Container Registry or GHCR. That's where we distribute the official, so to say, SpinKube artifacts. All right, let's invoke that one. That's already pulled that image. That's great. So it should be a little bit faster. Come on. Let's give it a couple of seconds.
This is conference Wi-Fi, we have to remind you. Again, no shade at the actual conference Wi-Fi, just that, yeah, there are hundreds of people using it at the same time. So, you know, please bear with us.
Oh, I don't think 100 is enough. There were
Yeah,
a bunch of co-located or co-hosted events taking place. So I was joining WASM, the Cloud Native WASM Day. I saw some great presentations on the current state of, for example, the WebAssembly component model and how it relates to the momentum that Docker, for example, had like 10, around about 10 years ago. So yeah, I think there were, I don't know how many people already today, although Kubecon actually starts tomorrow, right? So it were multiple thousands of people already hitting the conference Wi-Fi, and that's why we are. Hey,
Finally, yeah. Actually, it's interesting you bring that up, Thorsten, because there's a famous tweet by Solomon Hykes, the founder of Docker, where he actually says if WASM and WASI existed back, say, in 2010, I think, there was no need to create Docker because that's the sort of impact it could have. So I think it's also awesome that we're sort of showing the growth of WebAssembly and mirroring that with Docker in itself, right? I think there's such a good story there. Back to programming again, which is we finally pulled the OCI from GHCR.
Yeah. We pulled that image or the chart, and it got installed. And the final thing is, now that we have Spin Operator as an executor running on our machine or on our Kubernetes cluster, we have to, make the cluster aware of that fact. So again, there is some. Where's my mouse? There's a manifest that we distribute. Let me quickly copy this one and paste this one, and that's as well, mentioned in the quick start guide. But let's quickly follow the instructions there, so we see again it has been created. So with that, we have everything in place that we can swap heads and take a look at how we think about developers could bring Spin apps into Kubernetes. And to do so, we also released a new plugin for the Spin CLI, because we want to build that developer experience with short, precise, productive commands, all in the realm of Spin. So if you have ever worked with plugins, you can do a Spin plugins list, for example. And there you can see a list of different, either plugins that we created and we provide as Fermion, or community-created plugins that found their way through our, let's say, approval process, so to say. And the one we are particularly curious about today is the Kube plugin. I have already installed it. What you can basically do is like a Spin plugins install Kube, and then there's like a wizard, guiding you through basically it's asking you, hey, do you really want to install it? You type Y, enter, and there you go. If you, for whatever reason, don't see the Kube plugin in that list, you can do a Spin plugins update first, which goes to GitHub, to our trusted resource for plugin distributions, and pulls the latest catalog of all plugins available. One thing important to mention before we start on building a simple app is if you do is it dash version? It's dash version. I always miss those.
Yeah.
So many CLIs treating it differently.
Yeah.
So your Spin CLI should be on, or must be on, version 2.3.1 in order to work smoothly with the Kubernetes integration. And with that said, let's create a simple app. Again, let me clean the screen again, and let's do a Spin new T, and let's do a hello Kubecon. So what I'm doing right here, I'm just using the flags to use or specifying the flags to use the HTTP template for building a Rust or app with Rust, accept the default so that I don't have to answer all the questions, and provide a name for my new Spin app. So that's hello Kubecon. Let's move into hello Kubecon. And as you can see, we end up with what we all know and love for quite a time right now. It's a regular Spin app, right? So let's fire up an editor over here. And sorry for this one being black. I will switch color theme to something. There we go. So it's not that distracting when we swap from black from dark to light and back.
I think as developers, color scheme is very important. Like, people are either light mode or dark mode. There's no like, I'll do both at the same time, right? You have to choose one.
Yeah, I'm using dark themes all over the place, but if you do like presentation or stuff like that, I always switch to light theme because it's easier to read. So that's how I treat it.
I'm going to quickly answer a question from Riyank. Riyank says, I'm a MERN stack developer. Can you guide me on how to learn Wasm and its tools? Great question, Riyank, and I'm so happy that you stopped by our YouTube channel. Spin is a completely open source tool to get started with building server-side WebAssembly apps. I've just put the quick start guide for you. It's very easy for you to install the CLI and build your first Spin app. There's a YouTube video there as well. You might recognize the face in the YouTube video. But get started, it's very simple. What Thorsten is showing now actually is the way to build a Spin app, right? So what we showed earlier was how to set up your Kubernetes cluster, and now Thorsten's going to show how you can build a simple Spin app, get it up and running, and then get that deployed on the Kubernetes cluster. So watch this part as well.
Exactly. So we are right now looking at what the Spin CLI created for us by using the HTTP Rust template. And all I want to do, I don't want to go into the details of Rust SDKs and whatnot. Let me quickly say hello from KubeCon EU 2024, and let's return that as a result, right? So everything else remains the same. You know, we have the most important aspect is the spin toml. I always refer to that as the center of gravity, right? Where you connect the dots, all the things about your app. And yeah, we stick with the defaults, right? So let's move back to terminal. We made a change to the source code. And if you're familiar already with spin, you may know the dance, right? So we did a spin new, next we do a spin build, right? First time compilation takes a couple of seconds because Rust compiles everything on my local machine. Okay, now the app is built. We can use a spin up, right, to test if our app works as expected on local machine, but we expect that for now, right? I don't want to curl this thing right now. Instead, let's cancel that. So with what's new with the SpinKube plugin, you got a couple of commands that help you when interacting from Spin with Kubernetes. And the most important thing is obviously the scaffold command. The scaffold command is responsible of splitting out all the YAML manifest that represents a spin app. So the next question is, okay, somehow I can generate those YAML manifests, but how do I distribute my spin app? So spin apps are distributed as OCI, so Open Container Initiative compliant artifacts, which basically means you can push them to a wide range of different registries out there. The one I use for the sake of A, presentation, and B, simplicity, is ttl.sh.
There's no login.
Yeah, no login. And the TTL of a certain artifact is specified by the tag you specify for that particular artifact. So that's nice. So let's do that. There's a spin registry push command that you can use. sh hello -kubecon, and let's say this particular artifact should remain in ttl.sh for 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
Because they will kick us out either way in a couple of minutes, so we have to hurry up a bit. So what it takes right now, it takes the spin app and it creates an OCI artifact from the spin app and push that over to TTLSH. What happened behind us?
Yeah, I know. I think a ghost passed by behind us. For those of y'all who might have seen that or not, that was the CEO of Fermion, Matt, walking past us. He's also one of the people who made Helm, by the way, just FYI. So, we're going full circle here. And for folks just joining in, this is Live Code Tuesdays. We stream every week at this time. We're doing this special one live from KubeCon in Paris because, well, we are here. And what better way to do a live stream than from such a big tech event?
Yeah, Matt had perfect timing, right? Just in that short time span where we were waiting for our OCI artifact to be pushed.
Yeah, well done, Matt. Well done. We'll get you next time, but well done.
All right.
You can probably hear a whole bunch of background noise. Apologies for that. I think that's a sign that we slowly have to start leaving, so we'll head back to the demo and finish it up.
Yes, good catch. So we have the image up on TTLSH, so next is deploying our app to Kubernetes. And it's as simple as SpinKube scaffold F from, so we have to specify from which image we want to create a spin app, and that's TTLSH hello -kubecon, and we specified it 2 hours, right? And when I execute that one, it will just print the manifest to standard out, right? So nothing happened. Because our idea is you can use whatever tooling you're used to use, where you have experience with what fits into your compliance story and whatnot. And so, for example, I'm in the inner loop right now, right? Just trying to get something up and running. So I can simply do pipe the output of SpinKube scaffold to kubectl and apply that one from file and the ending dash again to forward std in to kubectl apply. And let's hit enter for one last time and boom, we should be good. So let's inspect the cluster and I quickly walk you through all of the things that have been created in Kubernetes right now. So let's do, bear with me, kubectl is a lot to write, so I will just do a K for now. K get spin app. Right, and as you can see, there's my Hello KubeCon app. Behind the scenes, we take care about creating all those nitty-gritty Kubernetes primitives that you don't have to. So let's take a look at kubectl get. What do we have? We have deployments, we have pods, we have services, and we have endpoints. And I will walk you through all of them in a second. So we create a deployment for your spin app, right? The deployment is like a replication controller consisting of one or multiple pods that serve the app. Then we have traffic. We want to route somehow traffic to the spin apps or to the different replicas representing a spin app. Therefore, we create a service. As you can see over here, there's Hello KubeCon, and a service can have, that's one of the big, values that Kubernetes brings to the table. A service can have multiple endpoints reacting to it, and traffic is normally, or in simple setups, balanced in a round robin manner. So we have for Hello KubeCon already 2 endpoints that will handle requests. So that said, let's do a quick kubectl port forward for service Hello KubeCon, and we forward from my local host 8080 to port 80 exposed by the service. So having that set up, let me do a new terminal over here and let's curl this thing. Localhost 8080 looks good. And there we are, running on Kubernetes in a matter of minutes. That's a simple walk through all the things SpinKube.
Yeah, well, first, thanks, Thorsten, for that wonderful demo. I think we can see that the dev experience is something that we paid close attention to. It doesn't take you out from the typical tools that you would use, or the processes or the compliance things that you would do on a day-to-day basis. And it sort of takes away the pain and the heavy lifting, right? So if you have a WebAssembly app, you can deploy that to Kubernetes. And in turn, you get more density, you get more lightweight apps. There's so many advantages to actually doing that. We will 100% do a lot more deep dives into SpinKube from our typical studio and like our usual places we stream without the noise in the background. But we just thought we'd get this demo out and also get you a sense of what KubeCon is like. Fermion does have a spot at the keynote on Thursday, so I think it's live streaming, and if it's not, you just watch out on social media for clips and stuff. Something cool will happen. All right, last words, Thorsten, before we are asked to leave the booth area.
Yeah, I think we're all really excited to be here in Paris for KubeCon in person, to meet all the community, to have conversations about all the things containers and WebAssembly, because I think personally that's where we are heading to. We are heading to, or we are entering that period of time where we will have both, right? Where we will have WASM next beside containers to lay out the foundation for the next decade of backend computing.
Absolutely, and I think Marcus also agrees with what you said, Thorsten, where he's saying, I like this a lot. WASM is becoming more and more mature and enterprise ready. I'm looking forward to seeing you more. I wish you success. Thank you so much, Marcus. And just as you're saying, next week we are doing a live stream with the folks at Zeiss, and they are going to be talking about how they use WebAssembly at an enterprise level, right? Exactly what Marcus said. For the folks not at KubeCon, watch out on our Twitter and our LinkedIn and social media. We are going to be posting photos, videos, some fun content to give you a vibe of how KubeCon is really going, especially from the WebAssembly side of things. Anyway, thank you so much, Thorsten. Thank you, Marcus, Mriyank, Rajat, Bunny, whoever else watched along with us. Keep tuned to our socials for more this week from KubeCon. Until then, see you soon. Bye.